Good morning, my peeps. What up? It's Viktor Wilt. It's definitely a Monday here. Got my second monitor not working yet again, so I'm going to have to do some tinkering with that. Yay. Yay for that. Anyway, aside from that, just looking for things to share with you. I was reading through a thread, and it kind of aggravated me. You should never dive into something relating to sleep at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. And the thread was called People Who Don't Hit Snooze in the Morning, What is Your Secret? Why do I even care? Because I'm the guy who hits snooze a lot, all right? Does it make it better? No, I don't think it does. I don't think you really get much extra sleep. I mean, I don't know. Every little bit counts when you're me. Ugh. So, you know, what kind of tips am I going to get in here to just be real? Yeah. Jump out of bed right when it goes off, right? That's the secret. Just get up and don't push snooze. People are saying things like, well, hearing the alarm again in 10 minutes is more annoying than just getting up. I don't know. The alarm is as annoying every single time. So I don't know. The first one is definitely always the most annoying. You know, generally I just hit snooze until I see a time on there that makes me panic a little bit. And if I counted on the first alarm to wake me up, then I wouldn't worry about it much, but I don't really count on that. You know? Sometimes that first alarm, I don't remember hitting snooze. So I can't really set it as the latest alarm, but, well, I guess it would be the only one, the latest time. This person says, I never understood snooze for that reason. If I wanted to go back to sleep, I would rather reset my alarm for 30 to 60 minutes. Well, yeah, that's not an option, the time I got to get up. And one person said some things that make some sense, like, oh, my dog will start going crazy if I don't get out of bed. You know, so my cats, I think they understand the snooze because they don't start really bothering me till I've hit snooze, 3 times. Then they're like, all right, we know what this means. Come on, give us that food. Get up. Ugh. Again, why am I talking about this at this time of day? This is like, probably the worst kind of break to do for the first day or the first break of the show on a Monday. I'm sorry, but it's what I stumbled across. Now, the best way to ensure that you get up without pushing snooze, I think, is to have somebody else sleeping in the room, because they're gonna smack you if you start hitting snooze over and over again. Like, just get out of bed. What are you doing? You're driving me crazy. That's the only way that I personally can think of being able to wake up the first time my alarm's going off, and that's to have someone else in the room that I would feel guilty for punishing with the snooze button. So, thankfully, generally I don't have to even have an alarm set because I'm on vacation or something if I've got people, ladies staying at my house. So, yeah, that's the best way to live. Have a schedule where you don't need to use an alarm. Oh, how would that be? Not for this shift, that's for sure. So, let's talk about the Chevelle tickets we're giving away this week. If you didn't hear, band's going to be right here in East Idaho, popping up at the Mountain America Center on Tuesday, September 30th. And what you need to do is brush up on those emojis. All right, this is a little bit different style giveaway. What you need to do is get the K-Bear 101 app and sign up for, messages from K-Bear. Every morning at 7 a.m. this week, Peaches is going to blast out a special message with a group of emojis in a row. And if you can decipher what the song title is that the emojis are symbolizing, at some point during the day, we'll ask for caller number 20, and then caller number 20 gets the first guess. These could be songs from Chevelle, Asking Alexandria, or Dead Poets Society, all of the bands on the bill. So, they're going to be songs you're familiar with. So just, look at the emojis, figure out what song it is, and then be ready to call when we throw that cue to call out there. Hopefully you could win some tickets to the show. Chevelle Asking Alexandria and Dead Poets Society at the Mountain America Center, again, Tuesday, September 30th. Tickets are on sale now. You can find the link to buy those tickets in our app or by visiting riverbendmediagroup.com. All right, we'll be back. So speaking of Motley Crue and, no, it wasn't the Shout at the Devil tour. I think Lou said it was the Dr. Feelgood tour. Anyway, I mentioned last week I've been listening to Lou Brutus's audio book a bit. You can find that on Spotify if you have the Spotify Premium. And, I recommend buying the book from Lou's website. It's an excellent read if you've never checked it out. Has all of Lou's wildest rock and roll stories. And the one I most recently listened to was about when Lou did a couple nights, doing stage time, introducing Motley Crue, I believe in Providence, Rhode Island. It's some arena there. And he tells the story of Nick the Pig. What is that all about? Well, you'll have to listen to the audiobook or buy the actual book itself and give it a read. It's pretty funny stuff. Also, if you're a, aspiring personality of any sort, whether that be doing like YouTube content or radio or whatever, you're going to find some great tips and tricks in there. Some great advice from, a radio legend, rock radio legend, Lou Brutus. So it's been very enjoyable to listen to. I've read the book, but it's a little bit different when it's Lou himself telling you the stories. So listening to that book is kind of like hanging out with Lou Brutus outside of work because he uses naughty language and things like that. So you can get a little bit of insight into what Lou's like off the air and, hear these stories that I guarantee he doesn't tell on the air because they're just so crazy. So Lou Brutus, Sonic Warrior, My Life as a Rock and Roll Reprobate. Buy it. Go to Lou's website. Check it out. Or, if you want to give it a preview, you can always do the audiobook if you have Spotify Premium. So I don't know about the other streaming services, but been having a good time checking that out. Good day to you. Thank you for your company. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Mine was, it was busy. It was busy, but it was really good. However, by, yesterday, I was just exhausted. And then I noticed this morning, I did a lot of walking and being on my feet this weekend, and I am out of shape. My legs are sore. Good to get some exercise, though. So Friday night, went to the benefit show at the Gem for Ryan Johnson's family and saw a number of bands play. Saw a brand new band called Flora. That was cool. Anytime you get to see a young group's first show, I don't know, there's just something special about it. I remember my first show. It was pretty wild. It was opening up for the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow at the Roach Motel in Pocatello. And I guess I shouldn't say opening because we actually closed the show. If you're not familiar with the Jim Rose Circus, basically a freak show. Is that okay to say nowadays? I mean, that's what they build themselves as. It was crazy. Just look up videos on YouTube of the Jim Rose Circus. You can see what I'm talking about there. Has to be one of the most insane shows you could possibly have as your first ever show. The first real band we opened for was Static X. So that was pretty cool. I got spoiled back in the day. I really did. Most bands' first shows, you're just playing a local show. I don't know how we got so lucky opening up for touring bands when we had no experience and we weren't very good. But we made the best of it, Tried to keep people entertained, and I thought it went over good. But I'm sure if I saw video of it, I'd be like, oh, wow, we were pretty sloppy. So some of the other bands that played Friday night, Passage of Acheron, and Godbone. There was a like kind of bluegrassy style thing or something. I can't remember the name of the band. I'm sorry. It's my bad. But it was a fun night. It was a fun night getting to hang out with the local scene, help raise some money for a good cause, hang out with my homie Dan Ditto, which is always a good time. And then I made sure to get myself to bed at a reasonable time because Saturday, cruised down to the Make Them Suffer show with Ben from the Advocates and Jade. And it was a blast. You know, always nice hanging out with a good crew of people, having fun and seeing an awesome show. They also had another show going on in the complex at the same time, the band Movements and some others. So we popped over and checked out a little bit of that here and there. But all the bands at the show we showed up to see were just awesome. Make Them Suffer killed it. Like Moths to Flames was great. Aviana opened up the show and they were awesome. Wind Waker was really cool as well. You know, didn't get in the pit, but when Make Them Suffer was playing, Ben and I did run through the pit to get up front and enjoyed watching the show from the front of the stage until the sea of crowd surfers began. There was one point where it was like we were trapped in a time loop with just, bam, crowd surfer after crowd surfer. It was just pretty much my hands over my head, doing my best to use my forearms to, not get kicked in the face. So, yeah, I feel like I got a pretty good overall core workout. You know, arms are kind of sore from the crowd surfer mayhem. Legs are sore from walking Salt Lake. Because if you've never been to Salt Lake, you know, you look on a map and you're like, okay, our hotel is 5 blocks away. A Salt Lake City block is not like a block in any other city in America. They're like, I don't know how many normal blocks long they are, but yeah, we got some good exercise, so that was nice. And then, middle of the night, you know, we were actually still awake, you know, just chatting it up and stuff, and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off in our hotel. About 1:30. It's like, oh, I was just about to go to bed. So next thing you know, we're down on the street with everybody from in the hotel, just kind of going, what's happening? And, you know, Jade and I did smell what smelled like an electrical fire. You know, that burning wire smell or burning electronics. Yeah, something was going on, but thankfully we only had to stay outside till like, I don't know, it was probably 2 a.m. or something. You know, and we were already awake, like I said, so we weren't as miserable as these families with little kids and stuff. Felt bad for the families with the little kids. I mean, it wasn't terribly cold outside, thankfully, but it wasn't what I would call nice outside either. So after all that, then you're, you know, waiting inside because for some reason only one of the elevators was working of the massive 2 elevators they have. And we had already been joking about the elevators since we got there because it seemed like they had ghosts in them. They'd be stopping at floors for no reason. It took forever to use these elevators. So when they got down to only one working to start letting people back to their rooms, yeah, it took forever. So I don't know exactly how late I was up Saturday night, but it was way too late. And yesterday I was just hating it and tired. And then you got the drive back home. Oh, we left it, I don't know, probably 10, you know, got some sleep, but boy, I was exhausted and I got a lot to get done this week. So I'm really hoping I get some kind of a first wind. I haven't had a first wind this morning. I pounded some coffee, but the weekend just, drained me. But it was a great time with great people. And I'm really happy I was able to do it. You know, trying to get myself out of the house more. Lots of people were real excited to see me at both shows and said really nice things. So, you know, I need to stop being a hermit. And I've been doing pretty good with it recently. So, yeah, I should probably do it more often just to be on my feet. Because apparently, I'm out of shape. Anyway, there was my weekend recap. Be back in a minute. Button not working? Come on. If you've ever been to Utah, you know you can occasionally see some weird things happen. You know? it's kind of a strange place. A lot of different types of people. Though we don't usually get a lot of crazy news out of Provo. Yeah. Only thing I know about Provo is that I'm always very excited to get past Provo when driving to, say, Vegas, because finally the traffic starts letting up. Yeah, it's just jam-packed from about the time you hit Tremont and all the way to south of Provo. So I'm always very happy to leave Provo. I've never really hung out in the actual city. Just maybe hit the gas station, pick up some liquid cheese. Yeah, get some nachos. Okay, anyway. Be careful hitting up some restaurants in Provo. You never know what you're going to see. You might have bumped into Ralph Lauren, 24-year-old man who was arrested after walking into a Provo restaurant naked, holding a gun, and flexing his muscles aggressively. Ooh, yeah! Jeez. This happened on a Saturday afternoon. Apparently someone saw him taking off his clothes at Bicentennial Park near the restaurant. And yeah, he was just kind of walking around in there, flexing his muscles aggressively and following people. Ugh. You know, you stop to get some lunch in Provo. Then you've got a naked Provo man following you around and aggressively flexing his muscles. I thought at first when they said, somebody said he had a gun, that they just didn't want to say what they were really seeing. No, he had an actual gun. But facing a lot of charges. I tell you what, there are a few places you don't want to be naked in public. Idaho's probably the number one place. Utah, got to be a very close number two, right? I don't know all of the different laws because they seem to be making new laws all the time, but I don't recommend you go out in public naked. You're going to go to jail and you're going to end up on a list. And probably the news, all right? People talking about you nationwide. You don't want to be an embarrassment to your family. So if you want to be outside naked, you need to go to one of the places where it's appropriate to do so. Got to pay your way into some kind of a nude resort, something like that. Not random Provo restaurant. That's jail time, buddy. All right, let's dive into a little bit of freak news action. Having the issue this morning where one of my monitors just isn't working. So, yeah, I don't remember where I store the freak news intro outside of where it's easy to find. So, here you go. Good enough intro. Okay. Let's see where we want to begin here. How do I describe this one on air? There's a neighborhood in Pennsylvania where I guess they were worried about drivers traveling too quickly. You know, there's kids in the neighborhood, so they wanted to try to slow people down. So they changed the lanes on the road to these just wavy lines. Looking at the photos here, it just would give me a headache if I rolled up on this road because you got to just swerve back and forth and back and forth. People are saying most people are just driving straight through it anyway. So, good luck to them on that working. Can't you just put up the slow children? You put, a speed limit sign or park a cop there, arrest some people, give out some tickets, and, eventually people settle down. I don't know. I mean, I do like that it's different. Not every day you roll up on a road where the lines are just nonsensical and wave all over the place, even though the road itself is straight. But yeah. I don't know if we'll be seeing that one around here. Hopefully we won't be seeing this one around here. Some guy has every week in Portland opened up his garbage can and found it full of just gallons of bottles of pee. Like, I don't know why he took them out of the garbage can. I guess to show them off for the news. Got 7 jugs, all of which are at least a gallon. And he can't figure out why. I can't figure out why either. That's a lot of pee. Is this one person to blame? An entire family? Got some kind of a weird cult in the neighborhood? I don't know. So anyway, how about putting some cameras out there, buddy? That's how I find out if anybody's doing anything weird in my neighborhood. I'll get motion detected. I would know if someone was dumping gallons of pee into my garbage can. Thankfully, they're in bottles, but still, it's gross. Oh, a neighbor did have surveillance video. I missed this line. But it's grainy and hard to tell. Yeah, in this day and age, you should be able to afford a camera with good quality images. So, yeah, don't go cheap on that. They've gotten to be way more affordable. Let's see. Don't fly out of Washington, D.C. Delta plane nearly collided with an Air Force jet at that same airport where two planes collided a while back and 67 people were killed. Can we get our airports under control? All right. I got people that I know who will be doing a little bit of traveling soon. I don't like all these airline collision stories popping up as of late. Oh, geez, you'd think if they had one incident in that particular airspace, they'd be working to keep things a little bit more on track. Also, Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, probably a place where they need to keep a good watch on our skies. I don't know what's going on there, but I would not want to take a flight out of Washington, D.C. And then, I'm into collecting books. Most people have something that they enjoy collecting. You should probably avoid collecting all of the elements in the periodic table. I don't know what the law is in America, but in Australia, you can't be loading up on plutonium. And this guy, Emmanuel Liddon, I guess he ordered some off of Amazon. Well, now he's facing charges of breaching nuclear non-proliferation laws. Yeah, he could go to jail for up to 10 years. And he's like, no, I'm just, into the science. I just collect the elements. Well, you got to check out your local laws before you start ordering up the plutonium. Yeah, ordered a sample from a U.S.-based science website. And, they just raided his house immediately and dragged him in. Yeah. Stick with books. Something that, okay, never mind. With what they've done with books in the last couple of years, there could potentially become a point where if you own certain books, they raid your house and take you to jail. Wouldn't surprise me at all. At least not around here. The news and the world have gotten to be so unhinged and crazy that you just don't know what you're pulling up, if it's true or not. And I'm scrolling through the news and I stumble across this article and I'm all tired and I'm like, what is going on? What? Okay, here's the headline. Spare human bodies grown in artificial wombs in lab as scientists insist bodyoids feel no pain and can serve as meat. That's a real news headline. Yeah, cutting-edge scientists have unveiled a disturbing plan to grow soulless, spare human bodies that can be used for medical experiments and even meat. Oh, yeah. Well, normally I wouldn't eat people, but it doesn't have a soul. It doesn't even feel any pain. It's fine. Let's make ourselves a nice bodyoid sandwich. What is going on? Where is this? All right. You got these scientists, Karsten Charlesworth, Henry Greeley, and Hiromitsu Nakauchi, making a bizarre pitch for this in the MIT Technology Review. And they're saying, I know it sounds weird, but this is going to revolutionize medicine because we could test out new medicines and growing human organs for transplants. All right, I don't know what the baby steps to get to this point are, but I don't feel like there have been any baby steps. We jumped from, maybe a growing fake hamburger, in a lab to, okay, let's just grow some soulless people. I have a feeling they're going to face some ethical challenges on this one. Yeah, especially if they're trying to make them for food. Well, even research. People are going to be like, what if they do have a soul? How do you know? This is crazy. What? Well, anyway, if I get any updates on this, I'll let you know. But this is a real in-depth news story here. If you want to dive in, just search for bodyoids on Google News. I don't know how I feel about that one. It definitely does sound weird. Because imagine that these, supposedly soulless humans, what if they aren't soulless, or, even if we're not talking about souls, because who knows what that means. Okay, let's just talk about brain function. Okay? Even if they can't feel pain, if they're aware and they're, strapped down, they're doing all these tests on them, that just doesn't sound very good to me. Just talking about science, Peaches, the Viktor Wilt Science News on a Monday.
That's how my focus meetings go with Jade, is that he ties me to the chair and, berates me.
Okay, well,
I'm just messing.
I don't think they're berating these soulless bodies, just doing medical testing on them, growing supposedly fake people, Peaches. This is where we're at with science today. Yeah.
Weird.
I already did the whole break, so I'm not going to recap it.
No, you're fine. I heard you.
Yeah. You'll have to dive into this one, man.
All right.
Pretty crazy stuff. How was your weekend?
It was good. I just slept a little bit more, cleaned up more.
Oh, that was like the opposite of what I did this weekend.
I experimented with cooking again.
Oh, what'd you cook?
I made this Olive Garden Italian pasta dish in the slow cooker for like 6 hours.
Turn out good?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I just went to shows. That was all I did all weekend, was go to shows.
Right.
And did not get much sleep. I mentioned it earlier. Probably would have got to sleep Saturday night at around 1:30 or so, which is late. But then fire alarm went off in the hotel. We had to evacuate the hotel at 1:30 in the morning and hang out outside till, I don't know, at least 2 or so.
It was somebody pranking it.
No, there was like, you could smell some kind of an electrical fire. So the fire department was there and everything. Yeah.
I think it's Jade's fault.
It could have been.
The electrical fires follow him wherever he goes.
That's true. We did have that outlet shooting sparks recently.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was a good time. Make Them Suffer was awesome. Show was great.
I figured they would be great.
Yeah, it was a wild night. They had 2 shows in the venue, so the place was just packed to the brim. But bumped into lots of K-Bear listeners,
good.
And it was a very good time. So, eventually I'll post some video from it. I was just too tired yesterday to monkey with the socials, but I got some video.
Yeah, I came here last night around like 10 p.m. because I was freaking out about the music being scheduled. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go over there and check. No big deal. And,
well, thanks for not hitting me up to check from home, because I was out cold.
Well, I know past 8 p.m. I can't contact you.
I appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah. I'm an old man. I go to bed early, except on the weekends.
Well, there was one Halloween you went to bed like at 7.
That's true. Sometimes. Last night I tried to get into bed at about 7:30. So I don't know exactly when I fell asleep, but I got a proper night of sleep.
Good.
So I'm about 50% today, where yesterday it was like 25. Legs hurt from walking. Yeah. Arms hurt from crowds. Dude, the crowd surfers were out of control. Salt Lake is just nuts.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. But
during that Lorna Shore show, there was tons of crowd surfers. So I imagine the same thing for
and it was in that small room.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in the center of the crowd, you're going to be just pummeled by crowd surfers.
At least you're not like me and you won't get the boot to the head if you don't pay attention.
I just stood there like this till they were done. Till the wave of crowd surfers were done.
Put deodorant on.
I don't care. It's a metal show. No, I'm sure I smelled fine. Oh, coworkers, Peaches actually told me about this story on Friday. I thought I was going to throw Peaches under the bus. No, Peaches is a good coworker. This person, however, is not. Wisconsin man facing felony charges after pouring super glue into his coworker's can of Coca-Cola. Yeah, Joseph Ross, he's in jail. Dude, super glue. And it was Gorilla Glue. The extra hardcore super glue. Apparently, they were all working at the Wisconsin State Fair Park office, and this woman said that 2 to 3 weeks ago, she began to suspect that beverages on her desk were being contaminated by a chemical substance. And she's like, it just kind of reeks and it tastes weird. So they set up a camera at her desk, and lo and behold, Ross rolls in and just squeezes super glue into her Coke. He's wearing latex gloves, I guess, to cover up fingerprints and things like that. Didn't notice the camera. There are cameras everywhere nowadays, everybody. You're probably going to get caught doing whatever you do. So they searched his desk, found in the garbage the clear protective gloves wrapped up in a ball, pulled them apart, and inside of the gloves, the super glue and lid. So he admitted to putting a supplement, is what the article says. I don't think you can call super glue a supplement. Supplement. Ugh. I told you I needed a power nap. But that seems like it could really mess you up. Super glue on your insides. I don't know how it works. I know what happens when you get some on your fingers. That sucks, but what a piece of garbage this guy, Joseph Ross, is. Holy cow. Make you feel a little bit better about your annoying coworker. All right, you got somebody who bothers you. Long as they aren't putting super glue into your food, they're probably not that bad. Holy cow. Well, anyway, just trying to make you feel better about those in the office today. All right. Let's talk about treasure hunting. So pumped to dig into some treasure news. It's been a long time. Ever since Forrest Fenn's treasure was found, we ain't had no treasure to talk about. Well, I was stoked to see on Netflix a documentary about the Forrest Fenn treasure pop up. And I last night spent the entirety of my evening watching the entire thing. If you're not familiar with the Forrest Fenn treasure, the best way I can now recommend for you to become familiar would be to watch that documentary, now available on Netflix. It's in, like the top new shows. It's called Gold and Greed. And back when this treasure hunt was announced, I got pretty into it. Now, I never went out boots on the ground, as they say, but I did spend a lot of time going over the clues, busting out the maps, and trying to figure out where I thought the treasure was. And I did want to road trip it because it was supposed to be somewhere in the Rocky Mountains north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And they narrowed it down to 4 states, which were Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. Now, my solves for the clues either put me in Yellowstone National Park or just on the edge of the Montana-Wyoming border. I had a spot that I thought could be a good location, but then, somebody found the treasure, so I never went and looked for it. Now, in this documentary, they do get into where this guy, Jason Posey, believes they found the treasure. And it was kind of exciting because that was in Yellowstone, one of these specific spots that I wanted to go look. But it's never been 100% verified where this treasure was. And, there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. Some people died searching for the treasure and such. What do we got? A treasure hunter on the line who wants to talk? Hang on here. K-Bear, you are live on the show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Zach. How we doing?
Zach, doing pretty good. Oh, were you calling me back about what you called me about earlier?
Yes, sir. Do you want me to call again?
No, it'll be fine. Just wanted to let you know those are available for pickup at the front desk any weekday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right. There you go, man.
All right.
All right, peace. Okay, so back to treasure hunting. Okay. What's exciting about this, aside from just the fun of, me feeling nostalgic watching this documentary. I mean, I was really into this. If you're a longtime listener, I'm sure you've heard me talk about Forrest Fenn's treasure. What's exciting is at the very end, one of the guys in the show, Jason, announced he has hidden another treasure chest somewhere in the western U.S. And he's following a similar path that Forrest Fenn did. He's got the poem with the clues. He's got a book you can pick up that can help you figure out more information. And, at the very end of the documentaries, when he mentions this, he has sprinkled clues throughout the documentary for the treasure hunt. And it's a 60-pound box full of gold and jewels. Part of the Forrest Fenn treasures in there. And where we're in the West, we got easy access to get out and do some searching. Now, he hit it, I believe, last year, or maybe it was 2023. And I can tell you from my years of experience as a keyboard warrior regarding treasure hunting in the West, it's probably still a little bit early to be getting out there trying to find this. Okay, you got to wait till the snow melts off. But I was looking at the subreddit that I didn't know existed called Treasure Hunting, and there's a lot of people throwing out ideas. Somebody mentioned Island Park. Now I'm really curious. I haven't even read the poem yet. I was watching this when I was trying to get to sleep last night. But, as if I don't have enough to do, without these kind of distractions. Because there's something, I think it goes back to my love of the movie The Goonies when I was a kid. Something so exciting about treasure hunting. So, again, recommend you watch the documentary. But if you want to get right to the current treasure hunt, let's see if I can find the link here. It's Beyond the Map's Edge. I think that's the name of his website. Beyond the Map's Edge. Okay. treasure.quest/en. That's easy enough to remember. Okay. You got to agree to the terms? Sure. All right, where's the poem? All right, here's the clues. I feel like we need the Goonies music on. I know I have the Goonies music somewhere in here. Where is it? This is no fun, not having the Goonies tunes. All right, well, it doesn't matter. We'll just throw something else on. Here's the clues. Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent flight. Round the bend, past the hole, and all right, I'm seeing a clue right there. Hole is capitalized with an H. Jackson Hole? I don't know. There's a lot of different blank holes in the West. I wait for you to cast your pole. Okay, something, a fishing area. In Ursa East his realm awaits. His bride stands guard at ancient gates. Her foot of 3 at 20 degree, return her face to find the place. All right, double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, wonder guards this sacred place. Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled, twisted finds. Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know. That's harder than the Forrest Fenn poem. I don't even know where to go with that. I need to watch the documentary, find all the clues. The nice thing is that the treasure hunters online get really into this and they start posting their thoughts and ideas. And you can use those to kind of get yourself in a new direction. So if you're looking for a hobby, I'm telling you, hunting for a treasure, what's more fun than that? And, it's not going to be in a dangerous place. Because, they don't want people to die. All right. I really got to get my truck fixed. Now, I'm going to be heading off-roading. I got to get my truck dealt with. I need to treasure hunt. Anyway, that's what I got obsessed with last night. And, oh boy. It's going to get wild. I know I'm not going to be able to stop looking at this stuff. So anyway, if you're into that kind of thing, you're welcome. Keep me posted on your thoughts and your solves. But yeah, watch the documentary. It's pretty good. I thought it was good, but I was also really into that when it was a thing. And there's a lot of crazy treasure hunters out there. They got some unique characters in the documentary. So anyway, back in a minute. All right, it's apparently treasure hunting day on the Viktor Wilt Show. If you're just tuning in, I was talking about the new documentary Golden Greed on Netflix, which outlines the Forrest Fenn treasure. It was a big treasure hunt that went on for about a decade, where this kind of weird guy from New Mexico hid a treasure chest somewhere north of Santa Fe in the Rocky Mountains, and eventually somebody found it. But, after it ended, it was like, oh, that's a bummer. There's no more treasure hunting going on. And then they announced a new treasure hunt at the end of that documentary, which is pretty cool. And now I know I'm going to be checking out the treasure hunting subreddit and reading everybody's stuff all the time when I should be being productive. Well, anyhow, listener Stuart called me and told me about an ongoing treasure hunt in Idaho that I may have heard of at some point and just forgotten about. I mean, you know me, my memory's garbage. Let's see, where did that website go? Okay, 43rd State of Mind, 43rdstateofmind.com. There are a number of treasure chests hidden around Idaho. Some of them have been found. Looks like 6 of them have been found, but there are 3 more remaining. So one of them that looks like it's in our area would be the Deception Point treasure chest, located and buried below the 45th parallel and east of 115 longitude. Then there are some others that would be in the Panhandle area as well as southwestern U.S. So the fact that people have found these is pretty cool. Now, you're not looking at a pile of booty like you'd get with the Forrest Fenn treasure or the new one that they announced at the end of that documentary, but looks like they have a value of about $500. So, something fun to get you out of the house and searching around, and maybe you could score yourself some gold and silver worth about $500. Peaches, we're talking treasure hunting.
I'll take it.
Well, you and your buddies are heading to, Twin Falls later this year.
Right.
I was reading through some of the speculation on, this 43rd State of Mind buried treasure. And, the Twin Falls area could be a good place to find something. Magic Valley,
I'll be like that guy on the beach with a metal detector just going along.
Well, and I haven't dove deep into this website. When I was talking to Stuart, he said he thought that when you get there, they are actually marked with like a red X, so you wouldn't necessarily need a metal detector. I'm thinking for the other treasure I was talking about earlier, metal detector's probably a good idea, but depending on where you're at, you might not be able to use it. Might be breaking the rules.
Right.
Like, I don't think you can go into a national park with a metal detector and just start wandering around.
Well, I don't think you can show up to a national park either with a shovel.
Probably not.
Because they don't want you defacing the beauty of it.
Yeah, but there are rule breakers out there. And when the Forrest Fenn treasure was found, people thought the guy may have used a metal detector. They never even really said for sure where it was found. It was kind of a shady situation. And I assume, like, hiding something in a national park, federal land that's not public land, you would think the government might have some ability to say that's ours, right? If it was in a national park. So
yeah.
That's what made me wonder if maybe it was in Yellowstone and they just never said, because the government could go, oh, well, that was on our property. So I would think public land would be a great place to start looking. It's not going to be on private property or anything like that.
Do you believe in those places like a diamond park where you can find like natural diamonds, or do you think that's all just a scam to get people to show up there?
We have the opal mines near here.
Right, but I'm saying like this is like there was one time the story popped up of this guy finding a giant diamond just sitting there on the surface.
I think I've heard that.
And it caused a lot of controversy within, that was totally a setup to get people to pay money to get into this park and, somehow find a diamond just like this guy did.
It could be. I mean, that sounds like good marketing to me. Some rando going, look at this giant diamond I found. Obviously, that's going to get people who have a treasure fever heading in.
I think people are still gold mining, too, in Southern California.
Well, there's gold mining all over the country.
Can you imagine doing that?
Haven't you ever watched that show, Gold Rush?
No.
Oh, I got addicted to it for a bit, and I don't know why.
I don't pay attention to the stuff like that on the History Channel, that weird crap, what's their, Deadliest Catch? Oh, no.
I've never watched Deadliest Catch, but I have watched Gold Rush. But that's probably because there's some part of me that is into treasure hunting. And I think it comes from the Goonies, like I talked about. Do you have Netflix right now, Peaches?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Watch the Golden Greed documentary that just came out about the Forrest Fenn treasure. I was obsessed with that for years and years. Figured out where I thought it was. And in the documentary, one of the places that I thought was a good spot turns out to be where the one guy claims it was likely at. So that made me mad that I never got out and did the boots on the ground and went and actually looked around. But I also was like, well, would they put it in Yellowstone? Because of all the restrictions and the potential of the government taking it. So
we could do a K-Bear treasure hunt. Just have people go crazy.
We've done those things before.
But just one big chest that has, a note that says, come by the studio and win your tickets or something and bury it somewhere.
Well, we've talked about how we hid the rocks back in the day.
Yeah.
And, I don't remember what prize we had, but at one point somebody just took the rock and they never brought it here to get the prize. So I was like, maybe our prizes weren't cooler than the rock. Because it was one of those big rocks.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all engraved.
If I was a listener and saw that cool rock, I feel like I would take it too as somewhat of a souvenir.
Yeah, because it's one of a kind. Well,
it's
two
unique,
of a kind.
And you want to have that rare item that no one else has when it comes to your favorite radio station.
Yeah, whoever stole the rock, you need to give it back. We won't turn you into the police or anything. We'll give you a prize. But if you have the giant K-Bear rock that's engraved that we hid years ago and somebody just stole it.
I know our old GM gave me this weird K-Bear jacket that was one of one because it was a 2XL and he knew that would fit me. So that's my rare K-Bear item is that weird jacket thing that barely fits me, but I like it.
Yeah, that's why if we're going to do some kind of a find the item and turn it in for tickets, the item has to be something nobody wants. Garbage of some sort.
What if we were to dig a hole and put a treasure below and then fill it in and put it somewhere?
I think you'd have to put it on public land, right, to be able to dig the hole. And hopefully we'll continue to have public lands for a while.
Put it in somebody's farm.
See, that'd be private property, Peach.
I know,
then you can
just get them in trouble.
Well, yeah, around here, you don't want to go on some farmer's property with a shovel. They'll come out and start blasting at you.
On a side-by-side with a shotgun screaming?
Yeah, don't go on private land.
But that's the fun of it. That's what you got to evade old Sheldon the farmer.
Oh, geez. All right, well, okay. I'm down to make it extra exciting. Stay tuned. We'll do some kind of a treasure hunt at some point because it's fun. But, all right, Peaches, I'm going to get back to researching so I can find the gold.
Yeah, you better.
Actually, I need to get back to doing other things.
Make it big, move to the Oregon coast, never to be heard from again.
Just become a treasure hunter. That'll become my new job.
Leave me a note like the Shawshank Redemption where you're like, I'm in my new area.
I'm
in my new life.
And you got to figure out the clues to find out where I'm going to be.
Right. You're on a boat somewhere just cleaning it. And I'm like, oh, there he is.
That's right. Living on the beach. Living the good life. Thank you again for tuning in to the Viktor Wilt Show. This program is a production of Riverbend Media Group. To contact the show or for more information, hit us up at riverbendmediagroup.com.